Welcome to Bull Creek Radio, where we give you a verbal image of life, and we are everyday people. I'd like to welcome you all to the show. We dealing with your president, Donald J. Trump, who made the statement concerning Baltimore, Maryland, as a rat and rodent infested city. Basically was saying that Elijah Cummings had been representing Baltimore, I think he said, for the past 10 years and hasn't did anything to improve Baltimore, the city of Baltimore. But actually what Trump was saying was, from my understanding and the way that the people of Baltimore should take it and the way Elijah Cummings should take it, as it stated that Baltimore was over 57% African American. But Trump was saying that since you all have the majority numbers in Baltimore, I'm not the president over Baltimore. I'm only the president over white people. So any problems that you have in Baltimore is strictly on yourselves. Did you hear what I said? Donald J. Trump just freed Baltimore. Baltimore now is in a position to carve out its own destiny the way it sees fit, which is now a majority black city that now can be ruled and controlled by black people, since the president of the United States stated that it's rat infested, rodent infested. He called it a mess, and he didn't have any solutions or plans to make it better. He didn't offer any aid. Elijah Cummings asked the president, well, if you know this about Baltimore, then why aren't you help funding or send funding to help the situation in Baltimore? Well, because your president, Trump, is stating that Baltimore is officially yours. Black people run Baltimore. Do business, do trade, import, export with other nations, and you free now. You run Baltimore. Any city that's over 50% black in this Trump administration, he's saying that my hands is off. I only dealing with my constituents who are the predominantly white cities, and I'll send them funds and give them aid, but predominantly black cities. And he gave such an example after Hurricane Harvey in Puerto Rico. You Puerto Ricans, hey, deal with it yourselves. Baltimore needs to elect a head of Baltimore. Could be Elijah Cummings, or it could be some other black person who has leadership qualities. I would prefer someone out of the Nation of Islam who will put Elijah Muhammad's 10-point program, that will bag his program and put that in effect in Baltimore. I would rather see the Moors, a Moorish brother, the head of Baltimore, and establish jurisdiction, nationality, trade, and commerce in Baltimore, since it's been openly stated that Baltimore, you are a predominantly black city and you're on your own. What a great day. I mean, it is great for the city of Baltimore. Run your city. He dust his hands with you. Dust off his hands with Baltimore. You run Baltimore. Meaning, separate. Run Baltimore. Don't look up for the aid of white folks to come in and do for Baltimore what Baltimore could do for itself. Do for self. You hear the Nation of Islam says that all the time. Do for self. Hear the Honorable Elijah Muhammad state. Do for self. Baltimore, do for self. Go for self. It's time. You got the green light. The runway is clear. The ball is in your court. Build. Because when you start building and doing trade now, and someone comes in and say, hey, what are you doing? Hey, the president left us out stranded. He ridiculed and disassociated himself with Baltimore. We have to defend and protect the citizens of Baltimore. And how do you defend and protect the citizens of Baltimore? You create businesses. You create safe places. You create a city, Baltimore, a safe haven for black people. You show the black love for yourselves in Baltimore and protect one another and find a way to do business and trade with one another. This is a unique situation. None like any other. Baltimore can be the example. You remember, follow the program. You remember back in, was it the 80s? Late 80s, early 90s, 80s, when the Nation of Islam had secured the Baltimore projects, and kids from now were able to come out and play. It was a safe place, and the people in Baltimore was thanking the nation for what it was doing in Baltimore City. But then the government stepped in and wanted to end that because they wanted the crime to come back and continue in Baltimore, and they blocked the funding. Well, now Baltimore, you got the ballers in your court. What are you going to do? Elijah Cummings, what are you going to do? Are you going to bring the FOI back into Baltimore? Give them funding to patrol and protect the city? Or are you still trying to fight your way in the system that you know? You march with King. You know you're not getting in this city. You know 400 years of racism against black people. Come on. You honestly think that they're going to change? They don't have a reason to change. As Brother Ishmael stated last Sunday, they don't have a reason to change. Change on your behalf or what? I mean, why? They don't have a reason to like you. How liking black people will be beneficial to white people? They going on about they building their industries and their factories and their space programs and whatnot. And he's opening the door for you to do the same. Take up your responsibility and protect your women, build your city, create a rapport with the political government leaders of Baltimore, with the streets, with the brothers that's in the prison that's getting out, and set up a plan. Look, y'all coming out of prison, we need workers. We need to build this city. We need to build now or refurbish or remodel some of these abandoned buildings and create business with your neighbors, create businesses, trade with D.C., Mexico, Africa, Puerto Rico, the Dominican, Haitian. You got the green light. But the worst thing you can do is sit back and let Baltimore crumble and prove Trump right and not do anything for yourselves and wait for them to come and rescue you when they gave you the green light and said, come on, black people of Baltimore, we want to see what you got. You talk this reparations and you talk about freedom, then we going to step back, give you the freedom. You can have Baltimore. That's what they telling you. Baltimore is yours. Take it over. Don't look to white folks for any kind of help. Don't look up to your president for nothing, because he's telling you he's not going to give you nothing. Run Baltimore. Run Baltimore. Check your police department. Get rid of all the racist cops and the racist and the racist element that's in Baltimore, because you are the majority, and run it. Don't be like the old days where you had all these blacks on the plantation and 4 or 5 white people. You had about 100 black people, and those 4 or 5 ran 100. No, don't. Those days are gone. You got the majority. Act like it. Run and be the majority. Create your city. Create your agenda for the people based on mathematics and science. Don't let them look, man. Do not let those Christian pastors who believe that Jesus was white nowhere near a leadership role in Baltimore, because subconsciously, only thing they're going to do is turn it back over to white folks or create a mindset of slavery and lack within the people, because that's all they know how to do. That's it. But creating an agenda for freedom and free enterprise in Baltimore, anything that starts off with free, they're not going to know how to do it. They'll keep teaching a slave religion to mentally bound the mind. That's it. And then once the mind is bound, then physically you can't move. And so you become a tool. So now, in that, I'm asking, look, Moorish brothers, Muslim brothers, conscious community, activists, Pan-Africanists, step up and lead Baltimore. Set you a charter and lead the city of Baltimore. As I stated, the President of the United States washed his hands with Baltimore and gave you the key. Put the ball in your court. If you need assistance, then reach out to some black leaders in other cities to aid you, but do whatever it takes. You need vegetations. You need cattle. You need something. Hook up with these black farmers around the world, all the way down to Texas, and build. Get with some of these rappers and athletes who have money to put that money into a cause of freedom, justice, and equality. Speak that language for the people for the black people of Baltimore. It's time. I mean, this is something that can kick off from 2020, start now, and from 2020 and beyond. And he gave you a luncheon pad. Start rolling. That's reparation. He gave you a whole city for reparation. A predominantly black city that the President of the United States just handed over to Elijah Cummings in Baltimore. And man, whatever you do, don't be like the slaves who were freed for the first time after 400 years, after 350 years. Don't be like them and say freedom. What freedom? What is I gonna do with freedom? I don't know nothing. And then relegate themselves back into a slave status. Don't do that. Don't be Dred Scott. Take your freedom by the horns and build. It's public knowledge now all over the world. You know, it's there now. Everything's out in the open. Yeah, the ball. I mean, you don't understand. If the black leaders in Baltimore don't understand the position that they're in at this point, something is wrong. Or if you don't have nation building on your mind, then get out the way and bring in those who understand the importance of nation building, and that understands that the black man in America is its own nation. a nation inside of a nation. You got to sit it now. I mean, this is interesting to see. I mean, hell, don't let a week pass by and you not holding town hall meetings with the citizens and saying, look, we got a bill. We got a, now we in a position to teach education to our babies, right knowledge. Teach them about their true history. Give all the black men in Baltimore, get them a message to the black man. Hell, you're going to need it. Because if you don't take the horns and take the lead, if you don't take the bull by the horns and take the lead, then what your president is saying, we will sit back and watch y'all fall to the ground. Yeah, we not going, what he's saying is, hey, it's infested. We don't want to have nothing to do with it. Hey, it's majority black people. It's your problem, Elijah McCummings. You deal with it. Don't ask us for nothing. That's what they telling you. And it'll be sad with a majority black city if we can't use our brain power and rise to the top like cream. Like the original black man, like the Asiatic black man. You can't rise to the top like cream with the mindset, all this knowledge that's been out there. You had Martin, you got Malcolm, the most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Brother Farrakhan today, all these black leaders. And please, you can't tell me that you don't have the mind power to run Baltimore. I would be it would be devastating if you're not thinking in the terms of freedom. It would be actually devastating for the president to come out on the world, not a national stage, but the world stage, and call a predominantly black city infested a mess. And because he didn't say, look, Baltimore's having so many problems and crime rate and it's rat and rodent infested and it's just in a terrible position. But I have the solution. I'm the president of the United States. I have the solution to fix Baltimore. This is what we're going to do. We're going to allocate so much amount of money to fix the infrastructure, to boost up the educational system, for prison reform. We're going to allot monies to turn these abandoned buildings in these neighborhoods, and we're going to turn them into factories that's going to produce jobs. We're going to get some companies to not send their factories overseas. We'll give them a tax break to keep them in the city of Baltimore so that they can hire the people of Baltimore so they can compete and have a living wage. He didn't say any of that. He just said, basically, hey, man, from his perspective, and I'm talking about the president, from his perspective, Baltimore is infested. It's a mess. I'm wiping my hands clean of Baltimore, and if it fails, hey, it's on you. Elijah Cummings, you're a racist. And from what he's saying is, you're a racist. Deal with your black race. You're on your own, partner. And let's see what you come up with, because we not giving you nothing. We not sending you a dime. And if it implodes from within, good riddance. Yeah, that's the overall message. So it's going to be interesting to see the coming weeks, the coming months, what's being done, how Baltimore plans on raising the money. Are they going to increase taxes? Are they going to charge a not stadium tax, but a tax to where the tickets for the games, the rental cars, the airports, the travel, the hotels, raise that up a little bit, take some of that money, put it into businesses and into the building of or remodeling the buildings that has been abandoned, and then we'll hire the citizens of Baltimore into these factories, and then we'll have shipping companies. We can start off small and ship whatever Baltimore produce. We take the profits from that, and then now we started building up education, and then at the same time we open up another businesses where we import and exporting on an international stage, and you keep moving and grooving and moving and grooving, and in 5 years, Baltimore's doing it, and they set an example for other majority black cities in the U.S. And you can't tell me that with all the scholars and professors and big wigs, black big wigs in Baltimore, you can't unite and come together on an agenda that'll raise Baltimore up from the ashes that your president stated that you in rubble. You working out ashes. Will the cream rise to the top? But see, one thing that hurt black communities all over America is when right knowledge and truth stepped in. You had agents who came right in and poured water and dampened the spirit and the drive of those who wanted true freedom. But those who wanted true freedom has to bear part of the blame because you didn't fight back hard enough. They gave you a reason to point the finger and say, see, these Uncle Toms and these boulets and these bootlickers, there they go again. We can't never get ahead because they always get in the way and hold us down, and then bring in the enemy to rule over us. And we got to march about it, and we got to sing about it and have lectures about it, instead of saying, wait, no, we're not falling for it this time. Look here, I'm sorry, Pastor, but you got that white Jesus and that mindset. We can't go down this road again. Look, we're going to flip the script for a minute, and we're going to do Malcolm's way. We're going to do the Army Elijah Muhammad's way. We're going to do the Moorish way. We're going to unite and build right here in black Baltimore. And if you want to stay around, then you have to get on our accord. If not, get on out of Baltimore. Go get out of Baltimore. If you're not helping, aiding in the upliftment and the benefit of your own people, then leave. You don't serve a purpose here. We really don't have a need for you, because we can't let you indoctrinate our future with that old antiquated slave mentality. It's easy because now it's easy to pinpoint a slave mind. You know it's there. It's the pink elephant in the room. You know the slave mind there. You know what I mean? What you're holding it around for? What purpose will it serve? What they don't need the slave mind is played out. It's the Jerry curl. Nobody wears the Jerry curl no more, and nobody wants a slave mind around no more. Either clear up your mind and have a free thinking, strong black mind, and know who you are. Okay, now you want to get into a religion aspect of it, then you would have to go back prior to 325 AD with Constantine, when Tertullian and Arius came and stated and defended the teachings of our ancestors that God was a man, the living God. He walked the earth as a man. He wasn't a spook. He wasn't a spirit floating up in the sky. That teaching of the spirit floating in the sky was to be 180 degrees opposite of what your ancestors believed and taught in order to rule over you, because they couldn't rule over you with the prior knowledge that you had prior to slavery and prior to the Nicene Council. Although the Nicene Council, it had to play out over time, because first they had to go out and kill those who held on to the old belief of God in order to implement their new narrative. And they did that all over the world. If you even was caught praying in certain manners, and as the ancients did, then they take you out, because they didn't want any opposition to the new way that was coming into play, because they felt like if we change the narrative on religion and we put the white Jesus up on the cross, take down the black Jesus, take down the fact that the black man was God and he walked this earth, which gave black folks a power and a certain incentive to build, because they knew who the Creator was. They knew the teachings that was passed down from generations to generations. They had to destroy all of that. Then they had to take the lands. Then they had to put you into a position of servitude so they can be the gods and rule over you, because they knew that the living God was man. That's why they ruled over you as a god. And then they taught their black preachers, you teach your people this if they want to survive. This is what you teach them. Because by you teaching them this narrative, it'll keep me in power. And that was the game. And so now we come back full 360, and Trump opened the door. Baltimore, you are majority black city, and I'm not your president. I'm the president of my supporters, who are majority white, and we send money and aid to them. You free to build and create revenue, business, infrastructure, security. Security meaning police force to protect your citizens, your food, your water. It's on your hands. Let's see what you got. And the whole world want to see what you got and what you're made of. I mean, it put Elijah Cummings in a peculiar situation, simply because he's the face of it. And this is his march towards his name in history. Which route are you going? Are you going to say, hey, I tell you what, come on, black people to Baltimore. Let's show them what we got and let's build for ourselves? Or will he say, look, we helpless. We don't know what to do. We need the white man. We need President Trump to come give us to stand us up, because we don't know how to point ourselves in the right direction. Furrow Pick Radio, we're out.